A 6-year-old little girl attended a Little League baseball game with her mother. The games ran late into the night. After begging her mom to go catch fireflies with friends, her mom reluctantly agreed. While the mother kept an eye on her from the stands, the little girl looked like she was having a great time, playing and running around. But when the games ended a few minutes later, the little girl was nowhere to be found. Hi, I'm Mindy. Welcome to the Missing Link channel. Every unsolved mystery and missing person is just one missing link away from being found. Hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified of our future videos and help us find that missing link. This little girl's name is Morgan Nick. Morgan was an adorable little girl with blonde hair and blue eyes. She was born September 12, 1988. At the time of her disappearance, Morgan was 4 feet tall and weighed approximately 55 pounds. She was described as a sweetheart, a very kind little girl. She was also a Girl Scout. Remember, she was only 6 years old, but she wanted to be either a circus performer or a doctor or both when she grew up. She loved to laugh, entertain, and she was very caring. Morgan also loved animals. She had just gotten a new kitten, and that kitten used to sleep with her every night. There is actually an adorable little photo of Morgan and that cute kitten sleeping together. They looked so peaceful. Morgan, her mother Colleen, and her younger siblings lived in Ozark, Arkansas. She had a brother that was 4 and a little sister that was almost 2. Let's go back. This story took place in Alma, Arkansas on June 9th, 1995. Alma is about 30 minutes from Ozark, Arkansas, where Colleen and Morgan lived. That Friday night, Morgan and her mom were invited to a Little League baseball game. They decided to go together by themselves and make it a girls' night. Colleen said later, "We made the choice to go, just Morgan and I, just to have girls' night out, and it was just such a warm, close, fun night." Morgan was wearing a green Girl Scout t-shirt, blue denim shorts, and white tennis shoes when she arrived at the ballpark that evening. They sat down on the bleachers to watch the baseball game with friends. The games ran late and ended up going pretty late in the evening. About 10:30, Jessica, age 8, and Ty, age 10, approached Morgan in the stands. They asked her if she wanted to catch fireflies. Of course, Morgan wanted to go, and she begged her mom. But at first, her mom was reluctant. It was late at night, and she wanted to keep a good eye on Morgan. Another mother assured Colleen. She told her it was a safe area, and it was very common for the kids to go play together right outside the ballpark. Colleen later said, "Finally, against my better judgment, I told her that she could go and play, and she threw her arms around my neck and gave me a big hug. We could see them very clearly, and the last time they turned to look, Morgan was running back and forth playing." Can't you picture a little girl begging her mother to go catch fireflies? And then when her mother says yes, she gets this big smile and gives her mom a huge hug. What a special moment between mother and daughter. So sad that this was the last moments between little Morgan and her mother. The 3 kids left the stands and headed for a hill right next to the parking lot. The kids were planning on catching fireflies, or lightning bugs as I used to call them when I was a kid. I remember spending hours with my cousins and my friends catching fireflies. Now remember, Colleen, Morgan's mom, said that when she turned around from the bleachers, she could see the kids playing, and that she kept turning around to keep an eye on Morgan. At 10:45, just 15 minutes after Morgan left the bleachers and the safety of her mother, the game ended. Jessica and Ty returned to the bleachers, but without Morgan. Morgan's mom immediately asked them where Morgan was. They said that she was by her car emptying sand out of her shoes. They explained that Morgan and them had gotten sand in their shoes while they were playing, that they went by her car to empty out the sand, and that Morgan was still there. Colleen could see her car in the parking lot. It was a Nissan Stanza, but she couldn't see Morgan. But she headed off in that direction. Colleen stated, "I went over to the car, looking around the outside of the car, opening the doors, looking inside the car, thinking she had gotten in, even at one point looked under the car, just thinking she has to be somewhere. Within a couple minutes, all the people and most of the cars were gone, and it was very clear that Morgan wasn't there. One of the coaches from the game asked Jessica and Ty exactly what happened. The kids explained earlier while they were playing that a creepy man started talking to them. They said that he had a beard. He was in the parking lot standing next to a red truck. They said that they last saw Morgan emptying out her shoes of the sand by her mother's car. With this new information, another coach called 911 to report Morgan missing. Colleen later explained, "I thought when the police got there, I thought they would know what to do, that we would have Morgan back. It never crossed my mind that she wouldn't be here, even a day later." A witness came forward saying that she had observed a man watching children that night from the parking lot. He was by a dull red Ford pickup truck with a white camper shell. The red pickup, the man, and Morgan all disappeared about the same time. The witness explained that there was damage to the right rear end of the camper. The witness also stated that the camper was 4 to 5 inches too short for the pickup. The windows of the camper had curtains. This witness also stated that the truck had a short wheelbase and that the paint had dulled due to age. The witness thought the pickup had Arkansas plates. The witness and children described the man as a white man, approximately 6 feet tall, medium to solid build, and approximately 180 pounds. The kids explained that he spoke with a southern accent. He had a mustache, a beard, and salt and pepper hair. His hair was combed back and possibly curly. The witness described the beard as possibly 3 to 4 days of growth. That doesn't seem very long to me. He didn't have on a shirt, he didn't have shoes. He had a hairy chest, and he had on blue denim shorts. They estimated his age range to be somewhere between 23 and 38 years of age. Unfortunately, that is a huge age range. The police responded immediately. They arrived within 6 minutes, and the massive search began for little Morgan. The police asked Jessica and Ty about their interaction with the man. It is believed that Jessica and Ty told the police more details about their conversation. Perhaps the police want to keep this private, so that if someone comes forward with this information, the police will know that they have personal knowledge or were directly involved. The media was also informed, and flyers were put up around town and the surrounding areas. Colleen ended up staying in Alma, Arkansas. I believe she was there for about 6 weeks. She didn't want to leave without Morgan. I can't imagine the pain Colleen was going through. To not know what happened to your daughter, to see her playing and running around catching fireflies 1 minute, to her disappearing so fast just a couple minutes later, the not knowing would be awful. To not have any closure. Minutes turned to hours, then to days, to weeks, to months, to years. No trace of Morgan has ever been found. And that creepy man that the kids described from the parking lot has never been identified. Colleen explained, "It's the worst terror that any parent can ever feel. There's such a sense of it not being real somehow. It does not seem possible that your child could be missing, that someone could have taken your child." The investigation has thousands of leads. There were multiple reported sightings all across the country. But unfortunately, not one of them led to Morgan or to the man from the parking lot. A composite sketch was released. There was a reward offered for information that would lead to Morgan or for the arrest of the person responsible for taking her. Morgan's mother still holds out hope that Morgan is alive and will be found someday. About a year after Morgan disappeared, in 1996, Colleen started the Morgan Nick Foundation. This is a nonprofit organization that helps families who have missing children or even missing adults. This foundation has helped bring several children home. Colleen has never given up faith that Morgan will be brought home too, and she wanted to make sure that Morgan's name was not forgotten. Colleen has dedicated her life to help other families who are in this awful position of having a missing child. The foundation has a wonderful website. I will link it down in the description. It has wonderful resources for parents and for teachers. Definitely check it out. Colleen stated, I believe and hope every single day that I get up that today is the day that Morgan comes home. And every night when I go to bed and she's not back yet, I know that I'm one day closer to getting her back. Morgan's case could be related to 2 other attempted abductions in that area the same day as Morgan's disappearance and one a day later. One of the attempted abductions was that same day, June 9th, 1995, and also in the same town, Alma, Arkansas. A man tried to entice a 4-year-old little girl into his red pickup truck in front of a laundromat. Thank goodness her mother saw what was going on and started screaming, and the man fled. This man fit the same description as Morgan's possible abductor, and this man also had a red pickup truck. The following day after Morgan's abduction, June 10th, 1995, another attempted abduction occurred in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Fort Smith is approximately 10 to 15 miles from Alma. This suspect tried to get a 9-year-old girl to follow him into the men's restroom, but thank goodness she refused. This man also fit the description of Morgan's abductor. The police believe that it is the same man that is involved in all 3 of these cases. There is no way to positively confirm this, but the suspect looked very similar to the man in Morgan's disappearance, and he also drove a red pickup. The first attempted abduction of the 4-year-old failed. So did he go looking that night for another victim? Did he go to that Little League baseball game because he knew there would be children present? It is pretty common for siblings to play while their brothers are playing baseball. Did he go looking for another victim? But if he did kidnap Morgan that night, why did he go looking for another victim the next day? Where was Morgan during this time? If he tried to abduct 3 children in 2 days, why did he stop? Or maybe he didn't stop. Maybe he just moved to another area. What happened to Morgan that night? If Morgan was taken by that man and taken away in his red pickup truck, did Morgan get in the truck voluntarily, or did he trick her to get inside? Did he tell her there was candy or a kitten inside? Or did he snatch her up, cover her mouth, and throw her in that camper? She was only 55 pounds, so a man that was 6 feet tall and 180 pounds could have easily picked her up without a struggle. However, there wasn't any screaming from Morgan. If there had been, someone would have noticed. She was only away from her mom for 15 minutes, and her mom was trying to keep an eye on her. If Morgan had screamed, someone in the parking lot, someone on the hill, or even her mom would have possibly heard. So really it only comes down to a few minutes where that man had time to kidnap Morgan. He only had a few minutes where no one was watching. And maybe even less time. What did he do to Morgan? Did he kill her that night? Or maybe a few days later? There are some rumors that maybe he sold her to a family that wanted to adopt a daughter. Is Morgan still being held hostage? Or does Morgan not remember her early childhood? Or does she have no idea about the awful circumstances surrounding her disappearance? Morgan's case was aired on Unsolved Mysteries as well as America's Most Wanted. On January 4th, 2001, the police released a new sketch of the suspect in Morgan's case. In January of 2002, police received a tip that Morgan was buried on land in Boonville, Arkansas. However, when the police conducted a dig, no body was recovered. In November of 2010, police performed a search of a home in Oklahoma. They said they were looking for DNA evidence. They wanted to see if Morgan had ever been in the home. Unfortunately, nothing came of this either. In August of 2012, 2 individuals tried to steal Morgan's identity. Tanya Smith and James Monhart, both felons by the way, were arrested on computer fraud. Smith and Monhart just thought they could get away with stealing her identity. They sure were wrong. Authorities do not believe that they had anything to do with Morgan's disappearance. This crime was 25 years ago. Morgan was only 6 years old that day. She wouldn't have turned 7 for another 3 months. Morgan would be 31 years old now. The suspect that night at the ballpark was estimated to be between 23 and 38 years old. That means today he would be between 48 and 63 years old. This case is still active. In December of 2017, a property was searched. Unfortunately, this search didn't lead anywhere. This was the property of a person of interest in this case. He was currently in jail on other charges. This was the same location that police searched in 2010. Colleen explained, "This was never a thought in my mind, that Morgan would still be missing 25 years later. 25 years later, we would still be sitting here." A 5-part documentary is in the works surrounding Morgan's disappearance. It is titled Still Missing Morgan. They are hoping to find new evidence and bring up new information that has never been released in this case. They are also hoping to find new leads. I can't wait to watch this documentary, and I will definitely do another video after this documentary is released. When talking about the documentary, Colleen said, "No matter what we've done, we've not been able to find Morgan, and someone knows the truth. Our hope is through this documentary, someone, somewhere will see this and be the key to bringing Morgan home." Colleen, Morgan's mom, wrote this on Facebook just a couple weeks ago. 25 years. On June 9th, 1995, evil ripped Morgan from our lives. Morgan was violently taken from our family by a predator, and our entire world collapsed. The word kidnap carries such desperation and terror for us. This is not a movie or a book or some type of entertainment that holds others on the edge of their seats. This is our story, our family, fighting on the very edges of our lives to right what is so terribly wrong. 25 years of fighting, a lifetime ago, and just yesterday. Not one day, not 1 hour has gone by when we haven't thought about Morgan and missed her in our lives. We want to say all the things about how desperately we love and miss Morgan, and how we cannot possibly stand the thought that it has been 25 years since we have seen her, held her, smelled her hair, kissed her goodnight. Our hearts are as raw and ragged as the day she was taken. The weeks and months and years keep adding up. Her siblings grew up, her friends grew up. Her dad and I have gray in our hair. Her kitten Emily waited 19 years for Morgan to come home. She is buried in our flower bed, wrapped in a t-shirt with Morgan's picture on it. Morgan's grandparents carry sadness in their eyes. Her cousins know about her through stories told to them by their parents. Her nieces and nephew don't yet understand who she was or what happened to her. We dread the day they are old enough to understand, the day they realize what fear looks like. Every single holiday carries a deep pain when our family gathers, because the gathering magnifies her absence. New age progressions are put together to help us find her, but instead we have watched her grow up on paper. I cannot reconcile in my heart her sweet little 6-year-old self with this image of a strong, beautiful 31-year-old woman with fine lines around her eyes. This image looks like she would be someone's wife and mama. These are things she will never get to do. Babies she will never get to hold. Cousins to her siblings' sweet children. Nothing is ever the same. Nothing is ever okay. The brokenness is always here. We bandage it and process it and get up every day and face it so that we can search for Morgan, so that we can ensure her siblings and our family can find joy, so that evil that stole her from us cannot take anything else, so that we can have justice for our precious girl. We are still standing right here, fighting. Me, her daddy, her brother and sister, her grandparents, her extended family, her friends, her law enforcement team, our community, still fighting. We fight because she is a daughter and a granddaughter, a sister and a friend. Morgan is worth fighting for. We will not give up. Morgan deserves to be found, to come home to all of us who are aching for her. Morgan, we love you forever and always. Thank you for joining me here today. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more unsolved mysteries or missing person cases, make sure you hit that like button so I know you enjoy this type of content. And remember to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you'll be notified of my future videos. If you have a topic you want to see discussed on this channel, feel free to send me an email. The email is listed in the description box below. As always, have a wonderful day. Watch out for each other and keep looking for that missing link. Love ya, and see you in my next video.